Hey everybody, I just recorded this whole lecture and I'm going to do it again because I think it needs to be more succinct. Um, so hopefully I can be more clear in this. So if I'm not, I trust you guys would tell me. All right, so today, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do elevations. We're going to do view templates. And let's start with those two things. And then we'll do that in this lecture. The next lecture, I'll do simple topo and sections. Okay. When I say simple topo, I mean topography. Simple topography. Let's get some land in here and building sections. So first off, we're just going to do elevations and view templates. Okay. This will all become clear as we move on, but how the heck do we make a building elevation? Now, when we started this file, you had four elevations that sort of exist in the file already. Let me go to the level 1 floor plan. So when we started this architectural file, we had these little tags in there and we sort of built our building somewhere in the middle of it. Okay. Those elevations were built in already, but let's go ahead and delete those. So I'm going to go ahead and select. Now, look how I did that actually. I made a selection window around the box and the triangle. They're two pieces. I'm going to hit delete. It says, hey, this elevation is going to be deleted. Is that what you want? And if you look in the project browser down here, when I hit OK, west goes away. Okay, so we're just getting rid of these views. Get this one down here. Okay. I'm also going to delete this section in here. I did that to when we were talking about the stair, but I'm just going to delete that. I don't want that in here. So in my project browser, all I have are my structural plans, my floor plans, my ceiling plans, which we haven't touched yet, and 3D views, and my sheets here. And there's a couple other things in there, but that's all we need to be concerned with are those categories that I called out. Okay, so right now we're in floor plan level 1. Let's make a elevation from scratch. Let's make this west elevation first. So I want to, as if I'm standing outside here looking this way. Okay, so I'm going to go up to view, elevation, and I'm going to click elevation. All right, so right now it says building elevation. And if I move my mouse around, I can see this little square with a triangle. If I move it over here, you can see it points that way. It's basically saying, hey, you want to look over here? 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 Where do you want to look? I'm just going to place it right about here. Okay, and then I hit escape a couple times. Get out of the command. Okay, so we've made an elevation. Now, if I go down and click on that little plus there, I can see elevation 1-A has been created. I can double click on it. Here it is, right? This doesn't look like my giant building. Okay, let me tell you why. Back to level 1 floor plan. Click on the little arrow there, okay? This little arrow or triangle, whatever you want to call it, says, hey, this elevation is looking this far to the left, this far to the right, as if you're standing here. And it's looking this deep into the building. So it's as if the view range goes about, 5 feet into the building and just stops. I don't know what kind of blindness like that's called. It's like no depth blindness or something, whatever. But what I want to do is grab these two little handles right here that are kind of buried in my stair. If you kind of zoom in and out, you can see it. I'm going to drag that all the way through to the other end of the building. And then I'm going to modify my side up here to be a little tighter to the building and modify this side. I wouldn't want this to be like that because then I wouldn't see this part of the building. I want it to go all the way over so I see everything. You could even move this line a little closer like that. There. You can move that line wherever you want. This tag is referencing this line. Like I could even put it right here. Wouldn't really make sense for that tag. Get in there again. So there, I just undid it and there, now we're back. So now I'm going to go to elevation 1A and now I can see, oh yeah, there's the whole building in there. Okay, great. Let's go back to level 1 floor plan. Let's go ahead and select this square right here. Okay. Now what I want you to do right now is let's swap out this tag. I don't like the square and triangle look. It doesn't really look that good. So let's make this how it's typically done, which is usually a circle with a dark arrow. So I'm going to select that square, go up, edit type. Okay. So this is the type that this tag is, and I'm going to hit duplicate, and let's call it building elevation VO2. Okay, so this elevation tag says half-inch square. So let's click in this area. Once you click in that row right there, this little button will appear over here. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And I'm going to change the type to a half-inch circle right here and change the elevation mark to circle filled arrow. Okay, so once again, I'm going to go through this one more time, but that's the changes I made in here, and I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to hit OK. Now I have a circle with a black arrow. There's no page number listed here, no detail number listed here, and we'll go over that once we get it on a sheet, because those will automatically populate once we move this elevation onto a sheet. So just to show you that again, I'm going to click on the circle. I'm going to click Edit Type. So right now we're in the Building Elevation version 2, the new one we created. So what we did is we duplicated the old one first, gave it a new name called Building Elevation version 2. Then we went to the elevation tag row, clicked in here, clicked this little button over here, changed its type to half-inch circle, and changed the elevation mark to circle filled arrow. Okay, clear as mud. If you get lost in this, don't even think about that right now. I just want you to get this tag on there. So just do what I do and hit OK. I find that incredibly obnoxious. I mean, I lose sleep over how obnoxious and complicated that is. That should not be the case. However, it is the case. So just make the change. And now we have a nice elevation marker, and we don't have to do that. What we just did, we don't want to have to do that again. Okay, so let's rename that elevation by right-clicking on it in the project browser. I'm going to rename it, and I'm going to call it West Elevation. Enter. Okay. Now, let's go to the West Elevation, our actual view, and let's look at what the heck's going on here. First off, the elevation looks pretty good. Like I can see everything. Got this weird box around it. Okay, let's hide that. That's called the crop region. And I'm just going to go down to this button to the left of the eyeglasses and click it so we can get rid of that. Sometimes you want to crop your view so you only see parts of it, and that can be helpful for your drawings. We're not doing that in this case. That's what you would want to use it for. So you could turn it back on. You can grab an edge. You can move it over, and then you can hide it again, something like that. We don't want to do that. There, I'll just keep it hidden. Okay, so that's first things first. Now let's go ahead, grab grid line A. Let's just move these guys up a little bit, and let's move the bottoms down so they separate from the drawing a little bit. And now I know you can see what's going on here. That's a little irritating. So we have these duplicates going on. So what the heck is going on? What's happening there is we have our structural model linked in with our architectural. And if you remember, we made the grid lines and everything in our structural model when we brought everything over to here. So if I click on this lower D, it selects the whole model, right? All the grid lines select there, and these levels select as well. So I can't just like hide a grid line, right? I have to actually hide that part of the structural model in this view. And I want to hide these levels too, so I don't get the duplicates. So I just have the ones in my architectural model, not the ones in my structural. I'm not deleting them from the structural model. I'm just saying I don't want to see those. Okay, so how do we do that? That's with our visibility graphics overrides. So if you remember what that is, that's VV. That will take you there. VG will take you there. Or if you click out in white space, you can just click this visibility graphics override edit button right here. I'm gonna go ahead and click that. I gotta check something. Okay, there we go. Okay, so what the heck is this thing if you don't remember? This basically says, hey, use this toolbar to control what you see in every view. So if in this view I didn't want to see walls for some reason, I could turn off walls. That doesn't turn it off in the whole project, just in the west elevation view. In our case, we want to turn off the structural models grid lines. So here's how you turn off grid lines. I'm going to go over to annotation categories. I'm going to go down to grid lines, grids. I'm going to uncheck it. I'm going to hit apply. Okay, that worked, but not exactly how we wanted, right? So we also turned off our architectural models grid lines. I want those ones on, but I want the structural ones off. Okay, so that wasn't the right move. So I'm going to turn grids back on. I'm going to hit apply. There's my duplicates. Now, I want to control just the structural, so I'm going to go over all the way to the right to the Revit Links tab. Right there. I'm going to click that. Hey, there's my structural model. Its display settings are managed by the host view, the actual file we're in. So in our case, the host file, which is the architectural file. So I'm going to go ahead and click that button. And I'm going to go to annotation categories. Oh, well, actually, stay in basics first. And instead of everything being set by host view, I'm going to change it to custom. And then I'm going to go to annotation categories and change this top setting to custom. And now I can have access to these just like in my... Now, these are the graphic settings for the structural model only, the Revit linked model. So I'm going to go down into here, go to grids, turn that off. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the levels off. I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to hit OK. There. Now this is looking much cleaner. I've got my grid lines looking good. I can move those. There's going to be no duplicates, nothing like that. And I have the levels for the architectural file, but I don't see the levels for the structural. So that looks good. This elevation looks basically done, but we're going to do a couple more things. I'm going to go down to the view display toolbar down here. And the first button there for level of detail, I'm going to change it to fine. Next button is visual style. I'm going to go ahead and click that, and I'm going to click graphic display options. Now this is view specific what we're doing here. So for style, I'm going to keep it on hidden line. I'm going to check smooth lines with anti-aliasing. You can hit apply after every change you make to see what happens. Shadows, I'm going to turn on cast shadows and ambient shadows. That looks really nice right there. We're getting some nice shadows in our curtain walls to show the depth there. We're getting this nice big shadow from the bigger volume. That looks like a great elevation. I'm really happy with it. I'm just going to hit OK. Okay, so this is getting a little tight down here. I might want to just pull this levels over a little bit for that. There we go. Now that looks like a spectacular elevation. Now, I don't want to have to go into every single elevation I make and redo all the settings we just did. That would be a pain in the tuchus. All right. So what I'm going to do is make a template for this view that I can apply to the other elevations when I create them. So I'm going to go up to view templates. I'm going to say, create a template from current view. Okay. What do you want to name this? Let's call it Arc Office Elevations. Okay. All right. Now, this little thing's going to pop up saying, hey, we made a new one here, and here are all the settings for this view. Just ignore this stuff for now, okay? And I'm just going to hit OK. Okay, a template's been created. All right. Now, let's go to the level 1 floor plan. Let's make another elevation. Let's make the east elevation. So I'm going to go View, Elevations, East. I'll go over here. Before I click anywhere, I'm going to go to my type selector and select building elevation VO2. And now I got my circle one exactly how I want it. I'm going to place that one over here. I hit escape a couple times. I'm going to select that triangle to set the depth where I want it. Get my edges in. Ooh. Oh my gosh, what is going on up there? Let me just pause it for 1 second. Toys, that's what it was. All right, so there's that. That looks good. Now let's go elevation 1-A. Let's click on that. There it is. I'm getting all my duplicates again. I'm going to right click on this. Let's just rename it right away. East elevation. Okay. Now, I'm in this view. I'm not going to do anything yet. I'm just going to go up to view templates, and I'm going to say apply template properties to current view. Click that. This window opens. You can select your template here. We already made our own template called Arc Office Elevations. I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to click OK. Boom. Look what happens. Everything is set up immediately. All our duplicates are removed. The only thing I need to do is go down and hide that crop region, and that elevation is set up beautifully. So there we go, our west and our east. I'm going to do one more. Level 1 floor plan, and I'm not even going to talk during this. There we go. Now I might just edit this over here and pull that over. There we go. That elevation's looking good. So in the floor plan, I've got my north, I've got my west, and I've got my east. Only one I need to do is south. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to place the north. I'm going to start creating the sheets for the elevation. So what I want to do here is kind of go around in a logical way. So I'm going to do north, east, south, west. I don't have south, so I'm just going to do north and east. I'll set up one sheet, and that'll show you how to do it. You're going to do this exactly the same way that we did the other ones. Our floor plan sheet. So I'm going to go over to sheets. And let's do our elevation starting at A200. So we'll do A200 for 2 elevations and then A201 for the other 2 elevations. So I'm going to go up to view and I'm going to go to sheet. I've got my title block in there already. That's the one I want to use. I'm going to hit OK. There's my new sheet. Kind of just went to the next one, but I am going to double click on the sheet number and do A200. And the name, I'm going to call this building elevations. Okay, click off there. Now I'm going to go to my north elevation. I'm just going to select it, click with my left mouse button and drag it over. And then maybe I'll place the north one I'll do up here. Okay, there's my north elevation. Sheets, I might shrink this down. Oop. See if I can, there we go. Maybe just get this a little tighter in there. So there, north elevation. That looks good. And now if I go to my level 1 floor plan, check that out. First drawing on sheet A200 is that elevation. So this gets populated once it's put on a sheet. Very nice. Now in here, I'm also going to add the east elevation. Put that one maybe here. Okay, and I can edit this. And that looks pretty good. Now you might want to get these perfectly aligned. I think it actually kind of did that. Yep. And I'm just going to slide that down. Get that to look somewhat nice on the sheet. That looks pretty good. Very nice. And now I can go to my level 1 floor plan and see that that tag has also been populated. And on sheet A201, I'll do the south elevation and the west elevation. So that'll be the first part of your assignment. So go ahead and do that, and I will get you the official assignment right up. But one more video on simple topo and sections, which will be a lot more straightforward than this. Okay, I'll be back.